Hi everybody, Web Dev Nick here, coming at you with the second part in this HTML course. In today's lesson we're going to start to put together the HTML for a full website. So for the next few lessons we're going to build out the template for a website, all the HTML elements. We're going to put pictures in there and links and a navigation and get the whole thing up and running. And once that's finished with, I'm going to then do a second course, which will be a CSS course. And in that course, we'll put all of the CSS onto this website and have a fully functioning website, which looks really good as a great landing page. And then after that, we'll throw some JavaScript on there as well and make it a bit more interactive. But anyway, I wanted to start just by mentioning HTML accessibility. Because when we start writing some HTML in a moment, you're going to see me using different tags like the button tag, there's the form tag, table tag, article tag. Now these tags are more descriptive and they are better for accessibility around the internet. Some people use screen readers and other technology which helps them interact with websites. So these technologies like the screen readers are able to read that something is a button or it's a form or a table. So it makes it more descriptive and therefore it gives a better user experience for somebody that's needing assistance on a website. So that's why it's better to use these tags. I just wanted to point this out because you can just use a div for everything, and we're going to be using a lot of divs as is common in HTML. But you could just use a div for everything, but it's not very descriptive. So that's why you're going to see us using these different elements instead. So I just wanted to introduce you to HTML accessibility, and I'll put a link to this article in the description so you can read more about it. So like I said, we're going to create a website. I think I'm going to do a marketing website. I've called it City Marketing. So I've created a new folder on my desktop. I've called it City Marketing. And now I'm going to do a new document, which will be the index.html, same as the first lesson. And then I'm going to open that document in my text editor, which is Visual Studio Code. Okay, now just like in the first lesson, we'll start with a doc type, HTML, to specify to the browser that this is a HTML document. We are then going to do the HTML tag, same as last time, but this time we're going to put the language in. So we're going to say lang equal to commas en for English. Okay, so this time we've specified the language to the browser. So now we've got our opening and our closing HTML tag. Next we're going to put in the head section, same as last time. Okay, and we might as well throw the title in while we're here. So we'll do title, opening and closing tags. It's going to be called City Marketing. Okay, so I think we're going to leave the head at that. In fact, no, one other thing. As we've specified the language, I'm going to put in a bit of metadata. Okay, so this is a very common bit of metadata that you see, and this is specifying the character set. Okay, so do equals UTF-8. Right, so that is a piece of metadata, and you'll see different bits of metadata as we go through the course. So we've got two very common things here. We've got specifying what character set is, so what kind of keyboard to use, and the language as well. So this is information for the browser. And then we've got the title, which in fact, let's open up the web page so we can see what's going on. So if we go back to our folder, right click our index.html, and I was going to open it with the internet, but it's not showing me here. So I'll find Firefox. Let's go with Firefox. Okay, so now this is our page. In fact, if I need to save that document, our index.html, so if we save this one, we should see this title come up now. So if I refresh that, now we can see we've got our City Marketing. And this is loading from my local drive. So it's not actually on the internet, it's from my local drive. Okay, so that's the head section complete. We'll then do the body. So we've got our opening and closing body tags, and inside our body, like you would have in a Word document perhaps, you have a header and a footer. Okay, again this is for accessibility, these tags. So that's telling the screen readers that this is the header section, and then we can have a main section, which is going to be the main part of our web page, and then we have a footer. Let's have a space between that, let's have a footer. Okay, so that is the basic outline of the page. We've got our head section, which is kind of off page. We don't really see that apart from the title here. Then we've got our body, which forms the main part of the web page. In fact, I'm going to half screen that just for a minute. I am running Linux Mint, just in case anyone's wondering. This is not Windows or Apple, I'm on Linux Mint. Okay, so as we can see, we've just got the title so far. So we've got our body section, which is the main part of the web page, and the header tends to be your upper part where you have your navigation. The main section is going to be everything on your web page, and then down the bottom you tend to have your footer section with maybe some social icons and an address perhaps. So that is the basic structure so far. Now we're going to add a navigation. So we're going to have a tag of nav. Again, that's another semantic tab, so that screen readers will know it's a navigation section. And in there we're going to have our unordered list. UL for unordered list. And then each thing in the list is called a list item. In fact, I don't need to separate that. List item. So this is your general navigation that you usually see on a website. So we've got home. Let's do about, and then we'll do a, should we do contact us perhaps? So we'll leave it at that for a moment. So that is our list. So you can see already with HTML we do a lot of nesting. So this is our main body, and then we've got the header section, and inside the header we've got a navigation. And that navigation consists of an unordered list, which has got different list items in it. Okay, so it may be a little bit confusing, but hopefully you'll soon get the hang of it. So there you can see when we refresh it, we've got our list, and this is an unordered list. Now, if this was an ordered list, which is the other one you tend to see, although you don't see that very often. If I change that to ordered list, you come down here, now we've got 1, 2, 3 because it's an ordered list. But it's common to find an unordered list. And then later on with CSS, we'll remove these bullet points, we'll change the text, and we'll make these items spread across here as well. And just like a regular navigation, these tend to be links that you can click on. So we'll do that while we're here. We'll turn these into links. So same as last lesson, a link is an A tag. So we've got open and closing A tag there. And in fact, I'm just going to cut that out and put it in the middle there. So now we've got a list item, which is a link, and in that link we've got a home there to click. So we need to send that link somewhere. So we say href equals, we're actually going to put an ID in this one, so we'll get into IDs as we go through this course. But the ID for this link is top, hashtag top. So we'll do the same down here. I'm just going to copy that whole link section, in fact. We'll pop it in there. That's going to be about. And I guess we'll have an ID called about because that's descriptive, and then we'll paste it in there again, and this will be contact us. We'll do contact us as an ID. You can do these IDs anything you want. You can call them whatever you want. So that'll be the contact section. So if I save that and come back over here, now you can see the 3 of these are links. And you can see these 2 extra greater than signs here that I've obviously got extra ones I don't need. So that's the bottom 2. So you can see them both there. Okay. So that's our navigation basically done with the HTML. And that's our navigation section finished. I believe, in fact, what I've missed out from what I've already done is I've put this unordered list inside of a div. So I'll do that just to introduce you to the div. So as I've said before, the div you can think of as like an empty box. You can put things in that box, and it makes it easy to move those things around when you're doing your design later on and your layout and what have you. Having things inside of divs can be very handy. The next, we'll move on to the main section of our website. So this first main section, I want to imagine this is going to be a big picture, a big backdrop, and then we're going to have a title with a subheading, and then we're going to have a button below saying find out more. Okay, so let's put that in there. So we've got our main section of our website, so this is going to be fairly big. So we'll start off by creating a section. Now again, you could label this div, same as this div. Everything in here pretty much could be a div, but we're going to call it a section so that the screen readers know that this is a section related to the website. And now we're going to create a div, and So this is going to be the main intro to the site. So we're going to have the H1, which is the main heading for the website, and it's going to be the company name, which is City Marketing. Okay, and in fact I'm going to copy and paste that again. This time it's going to be a H2, and this is going to be our subheading, which I've got reach your largest audience. Okay, so that's going to be the subheading, and then we're going to have a button. So we'll do a third div, opening and closing, and we're going to have a button. And at the moment I'm just going to leave it at that. So a button has an opening and a closing tag, and we want that button to say find out more. Okay, so if I save that, come back over here, now you can see our big heading for our website, and then we've got a smaller subheading, although they look pretty much the same size, and then we've got our find out more button, which at the moment doesn't do anything. So this is going to be the main intro to our website. Okay, and then after that, so we'll use this section tag for that one. Now we're going to have the div, which actually contains everything. Let's copy it from this one actually. So that's going to contain everything within this section. So this is going to be the second section on the website, and the way I'm seeing it is on the left side here we're going to have an about me section, a little icon, about us, and then a little write-up about the company. And then on this side of the website, I'm thinking on this side of this section, I'm going to put a YouTube video in there. So I'll show you guys how to embed a YouTube video. So first of all, we're going to have this section. We're going to have this, which contains everything. And then we're going to have a second div, which will be the left section. So if I put a comment there, this is going to be the left section. So inside that left section, we're going to have a couple of elements. So we're going to have another div. Inside this div, we're going to put a favicon or a favicon. In fact, that's probably the wrong word. We're going to put a little icon from a website called Font Awesome. So we'll do that in the next lesson. For the moment, I just want to put a note there to remind us to do it later on. So we're going to have an icon, and then we're going to have this div below it, the box below it, which is going to have, I think we're going to go for a H2. So it's going to say about us. And then below that, we're going to have a paragraph. So that's a P tag, opening and closing P. And I've got some Lorem Ipsum, which we got from the first lesson. So if you didn't see that lesson, you can go on to the Google and type in Lorem Ipsum, this first word here, and you can get all this dummy text. So that we can't read this, so it doesn't distract us. Okay, so we've got this new section, which is going to be the second part of the website. And then we've got a div, which is going to contain everything in there. And then we've got one div, which is a left section. So this div, because it contains everything for the left, I can control one box, which has got everything in there. And then below that, I'm going to do a second one, which is going to be for the right section. And at the moment for this one, like I said, I'm going to put a YouTube video in there, but I shall do that in a future lesson, in the next lesson actually. So we can just put a little note saying YouTube video goes here. And so that is that for that section. So if that's the left section, this is going to be we can label that the right section. So that's the right section, and there's the left section. Okay, so that is it for that section. Next section in the website is going to be a contact form. So again, we'll create a section. Some of these could be an aside or a section. I keep using them interchangeably, but I need to pick on one or the other for the right situation. So this is going to be a contact form. So again, we're going to do that in the fourth lesson, I believe. So for the moment, I'm just going to leave a little note there for that. And then once that section is finished, that's going to be the end of the main section of the website. So it covers everything here. And then we'll move on to the footer. And in the footer, again, we're going to divide it up into divs. So in this first div, we're going to have an H3. We'll use a H3 instead of a H2. I'm going to put web design, because this is a common thing you see on a website. So web design by web dev nick, web dev nick, and then we can actually use a copy symbol. So if you do ampersand copy semicolon, I'll save that just to show you what's going on there. So this is how you get the little copyrighted C. Okay, so that's going to be, imagine this is a footer. I'm going to keep this on this side in a div, in its own little box, its own little div. And on this side, I'm going to have another div where I'm going to put some social media icons in, I believe. So I'm just going to write a note about that because we'll do that in the next lesson or the one after when we put Font Awesome onto the website, but we need to import that. So we'll say social icons can go here. Okay, so that is pretty much it for this lesson. I'm going to leave it there. We've created the very basic outline of the HTML document. We've specified the language and what character set to use. We've actually created a couple of IDs, although we've not talked about IDs yet, but we'll see them working shortly. And especially when we get into CSS, we'll understand a lot more about IDs and classes. Vital to learn and absolute essential, but very easy. Think of everything in HTML and CSS as pretty straightforward. Just get in there and start practicing. With HTML and CSS, you just need a little bit of knowledge and then you can practice quite a lot compared to JavaScript where you need a lot of knowledge and it can be very hard just to practice a little even sometimes. So I'm going to leave it here. It's a very basic intro, and in the next lesson we're going to fill this out even more and start to put other elements in there such as YouTube video and the contact form. Okay, so I'll leave it there for the minute. Please like and subscribe the video and I will see you in the next one.